Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Josh Abrams, and this afternoon we'll be going over reviewing Chapter 1 of Tim Harford's Undercover Economist. And Chapter 1 discusses who really pays for your coffee. And it talks about how we assume coffee is so expensive. And then that, it's the beans or the brand of coffee, or the fancy high-end baristas, that serve us the coffee. But the real driver that it talks about in the book is scarcity of location. Um, and they go on to speak about how a coffee stand inside of a busy train station has something rare, and that's access to, thousands of people, all day long, constantly. And that's a prime location, and it's limited. And so the landlord charges high rent for that, scarcity of location. And that the actual coffee shop that gets charged that high rent just in turn passes that right back down to us. So they're not really making any more on the coffee themselves. The landlord is making a lot of money for his property. Um, yeah, that's called economic rent. It's the extra money earned from not creating more value, but for but from controlling something scarce, like a spot inside the train station. So when you pay $4 for a cup of coffee, you're mostly paying for the scarcity, not the coffee itself. I know me, when I go to Dutch Bros and spend $7 on a Golden Eagle, I definitely feel like I'm getting burned, but maybe that's just scarcity of location. Um, and two interesting points that I found, one is that the coffee vendor is not getting rich. A lot of us assume that those coffee places are getting rich. That's what I always thought. Starbucks, Dutch Bros. But they point out in the book that most of the extra money goes to the landowners, who control the scarce locations. And that those shopkeepers, they just pass along those rent costs to us, and that's what drives the price through the roof. Which has surprised me, because that's definitely not how I looked at it before. Let's see. Interesting point number two. This lesson uh, applies far beyond coffee. They talked about it, how it just applies in the economy, period. They talked about in the book how from land to apartments. You could use it in parking spaces in downtown and a big town like I know Nashville. I always thought about getting one of those, just an empty parking lot and charging rent for it. Those guys are making a fortune too. So whenever something is limited, people want it badly. Whoever controls it gets the value of it, just like the landlord in the station in the book. Uh, I guess the message is that prices aren't just about production costs. That they're shaped by scarcity, bargaining power, and the incentives. Yeah. So next time you grab a cup of coffee, remember what you're really paying for is the privilege of that location, and not so much the coffee itself, because coffee beans are cheap. Thank you. Have a good day.